morning. My name is Edward Mailer. I am a student at Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville. I'm an accounting student, and I'm going to present to you Saudi Arabian culture for Management 330. I brought you guys all today for this Saudi Arabian culture report for our recent trip that we're getting ready to make to Saudi Arabia for business deals. Throughout my report, I'm going to cover many important things that we need to keep in mind while over in Saudi Arabia conducting our business. To start with, I'm going to go over the religious point of view that Saudi Arabia holds, some business structure and management style. A lot of that revolves around family and where you rank in the family. I'm going to go over the meeting environment and some communication as well on how in Saudi Arabia they meet on first interviews and even communicate between each other in the business. And then also I'm going to finish up with some regular business standards on just casual ways to conduct yourself while in Saudi Arabia on business. To start with, we're going to go over some background on Saudi Arabia. If you don't already know, Saudi Arabia is very much an Arabic and Islam religious background. They use this in many common references, even in everyday speech and everyday business conversation. They think that everything in life is controlled by their God, and they also use Arabic phrases as well as religion and referenced in many common business conversations, and this should be taken in a way that seems normal to you and acknowledge them with this manner. Islamic culture tells their society that everything in life is in the hands of God, and that often business decisions can succeed or fall by a sign from their God. Patience is virtuous with these decisions, needing signs from their Almighty. And what that pretty much means is they often wait for symbols of some sort to come from more supreme spirits to guide them in business decisions. The oft-quoted Arabic phrase, Insha'Allah, if God wills it, is what that stands for, represents a deeply rooted belief in the unending activity of a supreme being, rather than an excuse for inactivity or lack of motivation. That is often used in their everyday business quotes whenever they're saying, they're waiting out for a sign from their supreme being on whether or not to take the deal or not. Always remember that Saudi Arabians hold religion and religious ritual over all other aspects of life, and to expect such rituals as prayer and other rituals to be inserted throughout the business day. Don't be open those graciously. Next up, I have just a few figures on Saudi Arabia, just some basic things like the population, GDP, the currencies, the rial, and their imports and exports revolve mostly around that of crude oil and refined petroleum. And then women's rights, which is very important, and we'll get to that after a bit. Their business structure is keep it in the family and the inner circle of trust. This revolves tightly with Saudi Arabia business. Keep it in the family. Most of their co-workers and business relationships are also backed up by personal relationships with family members and extended family. They build an inner circle of trust that will be difficult to enter, but upon interest, this possibility of business networking can be substantial. And what that basically breaks down to is it's going to be hard to earn the trust of Saudi Arabians, but once we get in there and we earn the trust of them, we can do some great networking with them. Their management style is, like I was saying earlier about keeping it in the family. Attempts at an equal playing field are difficult for that everyone has close ties to their family already, and there's a large elderly respect level. The senior is often the decision maker. It's hard to overturn that decision. The only time that decision has been seen to be overturned is if everyone in the group sees different from what the senior member sees. And that's pretty well it. The meeting environment, the first impression is not as dire as it is in most countries, in most other countries that is, because your first introduction being orderly and large for the most part, in large almost mixer and mingle like atmospheres that we see here in the States. You're also most of the time you have to take patience when waiting to speak, as in everyone will get their turn and get their first chance to introduce themselves. And present with confidence. Confidence without hesitation in Saudi Arabia is seen with not only showing great respect to the audience, but being comfortable with the audience in that way. So that way everyone sees it as that. Communication, there's a complimenting emphasis, in which ways that they will often compliment you and they would like compliments in return for the host organizations, Saudi Arabia, and maybe even the Islamic world in general. They really enjoy compliments on their large spiritual lives, and they enjoy that. And they will return you with compliments as well. They will give you some personal questions, but just be gracious with those answers, because personal questions are just shown as a way of trust and quicker understanding of each other and better relationship in the end. Regular business standards. This is where I'm going to talk about our female audience for this. Females are really non-existent in the community of Saudi Arabia and even in the business world. They're often seen as property with very low civil rights. And for that, it's really hard for a woman to even obtain a visa to get into the country to do business. My statistic that I found was 1 in 26,000 actually make it into the country, and then they have to dress extremely conservatively and really stand down in most business atmospheres. Men, on the other hand, we're going to go off our regular standard of suit and tie. At no time are we going to ever wear the gi robes, which I have shown here. That's considered offensive if you're not from that area of the world, and to show that that is your professional attire can be very offensive towards them. In conclusion, I hope we have a really safe trip, and to study up on my report on the plane ride over. I'm sure we're going to have a great success over there as long as we run along our standards, and most importantly, patience. Patience is very virtuous in this community and in this society, and the more that we can show patience, I think we're going to have more great successes. Thank you.